Hey YouTube, Joy Green 1990 here to discuss She-Hulk Season 1, Episode 8, and wow, this episode delivered. So in the trailer for the season, there had been rumors and hints of Daredevil for a while. And we finally got him suiting up and lorrying up this episode, and I loved it. Start off the episode essentially where Jen Walters is representing Leapfrog, Ribbit Ribbit, where essentially young man whose father had a lot of money, he decided to buy a super suit from Luke Jacobson, the guy who was doing She-Hulk's as well as Daredevil's super suit, and he decided to make the mistake of not properly reading the instructions. He tried to go up the sky, friend some guys, fell down, get injured, suit caught on fire, is burning his legs. Went to Jen, he's like, hey, I want to sue Luke Jacobson. She's like, but he's making my suit for the gala. She went to her boss. He's like, let's try to get a deal out of it since he's doing a nice deal for you. So she went to him. She's like, hey, Luke. He's like, your dress isn't ready. And she's like, I need to tell you something else. Talks about the fact she's going to go after him. And he's like, no. And he gets mad, rips her dress. He's like, I don't make faulty products, which I thought was perfect. He's like, this isn't me. And then I should have seen this coming. I didn't. Go to court. Jennifer Walters is there with her client, and Luke Jacobson is there, and they're all like, where's your lawyer? He's like, oh, he's coming. And then all of a sudden, click, 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 walks in Matt Murdock. I loved it. I liked that dynamic, the banter between Matt and Jen, kind of the back and forth, and how also that Matt was able to literally tear apart her client and his story because of his enhanced abilities, the fact that he could smell that there had been jet fuel used on the boots. And then Taylor, Luke Jacobson, literally says, hey, my instructions say not to put that type of fuel in those. And then the judge is like, yeah, that's on your client. Case dismissed. And I was like, that's good. And so then even within this, they continue a little banter as they're going out to the court. Lee should go see a drink. And lo and behold, who shows up? Matt Murdock. There's a drink, apple martini. They get chatting. She gets a text from one of the guys who'd been wanting to date her, She-Hulk. Never liked him. I found out why. We were not supposed to like him. She goes, talks to him. He's talking about how, texts me. He's like, I want to show up. He's like, hey, your firm said anytime, 24/7. So she shows up. He's talking about, hey, he's got a Wakandan spear, which I think is funny, considering it was stolen by colonizers from Europe. And so she's like, look, if you're not here for an actual case, I'm leaving. And so she leaves. She gets a call from Leapfrog. Apparently, he is being attacked by some guy in a suit. So she goes, finds out it's Daredevil. So she shows up. Car hits her. The Leapfrog falls. And then Daredevil falls off as well. And they kind of go blow to blow. Leapfrog speeds away. They have a little tussle. Daredevil's pretty agile, which I like to see. I thought perfect. I love the new suit. And with that also, I want to mention, I liked the colors they had with Jen's suit for She-Hulk. I'm not a big color scheme guy. I did like the fact that Daredevil has to change a little for yellow, more tactical with kind of the black too. I liked how his baton had changed more as well. I liked that Jen's looked more kind of not so much like the purple, but more like an actual like tactical kind of running suit. I thought that was good. So give her more that kind of look where she's running. It's like, oh, it's a super suit. It's more kind of blend in if she needs to. So I did like seeing that. I like the fact that when they transition from parking garage to the bottom, essentially the only way she's able to really beat Matt is by the sonic boom. It hits his ears, and even in that moment, she takes his helmet off. his hood off, kind of like, oh, you're a lawyer. It's like, oh, I'm actually blind, but I can hear echolocation. It's like, boom. It's like, yes, but I hear things worse. I was hoping he would have said more with the echolocation. Because in the comics, to me, it's a bit in the echolocation, but more to it. He elaborates later on, but I did not like the fact he's like, I hear things. It's like, give us more. So I thought the echolocation from Jen was perfect. I was hoping for a little more from Daredevil himself, because then we say later on, he's literally talking about how he can hear the heartbeat, so we know echolocation, but there's more to it. So I like once she's essentially disarmed him, he explains, hey, your client kidnapped my client. It's like, oh. And so I like the fact that she was kind of made of a fool, but she was willing to listen and understood where Matt was coming from there because he was trying to help his client. And so it transitions to the Leapfrog, where literally it's his hideout and you've got his tadpoles, his goons. And I like how they're talking about when they get there, how Jen and Daredevil take the moment when they get there to talk about the difference between goons and thugs. I like that because I don't feel like a lot of people have talked about that. And so I jumped ahead, but then I want to go back to how I like the fact that the show kind of was going on with Jacobson and how Leapfrog is just kind of going on and on, winning this perfect super suit. Then we transition to Jen and Daredevil there talking about their entrance. Daredevil was very precise to the point. You're going to get in, get out. How many seconds to do? And she's like, she's going to rush in and do it. It's like, no. And so he keeps talking about how she's miscalculated. She's like, oh, it'll take you 30 minutes. Like, I didn't say that with the math, And so I like eventually they decide to just go on their own. They have a scene where Daredevil takes out 5 guys, and then Jen comes through taking out 5 guys. So it's kind of like they're both powerful in their own way. And then even when they get in, I love the dynamic how they're beating up the guys and how then they're going lawyer talk. How you could talk about the fact that you're insane, or you could use this defense. And then even I was like, "What are you, a lawyer?" Daredevil's like, "Oh no, I watch a lot of lawyer shows." And so they're kind of even Jen mentioned that too. And so I liked bringing Daredevil. I didn't think I would, but I thought he had great dynamic with Jen Walters as a lawyer, as well as then superhero wise, and I thought his transition to the MCU for Daredevil was awesome. I did like how she hooked up with him later on. In the comics, she is very promiscuous. It doesn't bother me because that's part of her character. I did see kind of over the end coming, but it was a little frustrating and sad. I do want to jump back that the Taylor had said he would eventually do her dress for the lawyer award that she was going to. So we transitioned to that after she slept with Daredevil. He's walking out just randomly street, and how her assistant, her friend, it's like, hey, why did I see some dude dressed like Daredevil just walking out? It's like, oh, did you? Yeah, it's like, oh, okay. So it's like, can't really forget. And then Jen does in the third person thing, which turns out it's like, this seems like it should be over unless we're going to get something else. So she mentions, well, maybe it's going to be Red Hulk or something else. And so I like they're teasing possible ideas for the future, maybe. That to me is exciting. It's cool. We're actually at that point where they could do more with it. Said I've liked certain parts of the season. I thought this was a wonderful episode. It's not even done. The transition to the gala. They're talking about how Lawyer of the Year. They have 4, 5, 6 different lawyers come up. They have She-Hulk, Jen Walters. They have Troy. They have the lady she worked with, the African American. I forget her name. Forgive me. Those are the 3 that stood out. I know there's other names that matter, but She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters matters because she's the main character show. The African American lady, who's her friend, who's also her colleague, and then Troy, who in the comics ends up being a She-Hulk at some point. I don't know if they're going to do it. I just thought it was cool. And I can't even take. I didn't notice this first. I got online. I quickly saw that was the first thing. she stood out to me, but I didn't make the connection until I randomly looked online. So there's a lot of other people talking about this as well because this episode was explosive. Speaking of that, at the end we have the She-Hulk busters or intelligentsia essentially say, hey, She-Hulk's not like you think. And they do all this stuff, and then it's like, oh, she's a whore. She sleeps with people. It's like parents didn't say it. And then we see, oh yeah, the rich guy that was trying to sleep with her actually ends up being one of them. So American lawyer friends like, Jen, don't get mad, don't do it. And then she punches the string. It's like, this is what kind of thought was coming is they had all these highlights of her as a hero, and they're not really gonna have this moment where she's the villain. And so she's gonna have to kind of like a redeeming moment. I don't think it's gonna be like complete where the whole world's against her, but it's gonna take some of her allies. I'm hoping it'll be Daredevil. He may not, but I definitely feel like Wong might come back. Some of the other people she's helped, I would like to see that. It is kind of sad that the season finale is already promised, I think either next week or the following week. But I mean, I kind of saw the intelligentsia stuff. They've been setting that for a while. I have to wonder if Josh, the guy, I don't think he's the main leader. I have to even, they might even introduce the leader. I doubt it, but for the last episode, I'd like them to bring a lot of stuff to tie in together, which would be the Wrecking Crew, the Abomination. He might even help out some of the guys at his place if they're going to show up and help, or if they'll actually be villains. If Ross or a Hulk Buster general will show up, talk about how the Hulks are bad, that kind of thing, and then set up either for next season or lead into other shows. That's what I would like to see for the season finale. If you like this review, please let me know. I honestly thought this was a 10 out of 10 episode. Wonderful story, great tie-in with actors and characters I've been wanting for a while. Daredevil, Luke Jacobson, the character we kind of got introduced to that we're not sure who's going to be the best for the Taylor. Liked him. I liked bringing all the other female characters in, as well as Pug, the lawyer, that I really like. A wonderful character. I like kind of his take on it, and the writer's take on him, and then bringing everything where kind of Jen got a nice little sweet ending with the guy she met, slept with, had a wonderful time, and then boom, chaos with everything that had been building up. So that to me makes this a 10 out of 10 because you had so much build up, you had so much action, good writing. So I'm hoping this will carry off into next one. I really expect next episode finale should be a 10 out of 10, or at least no lower than a 6 out of 10 based on everything we've seen. So, Jolly Green 1990s review for She-Hulk, Season 1, Episode 8. If you like this, like, comment, subscribe, let me know your thoughts. Jolly Green 1990, sign up. Bye, YouTube.